The most memorable 5 lessons that he has given.
First is simplicity. Second is being humble no matter how rich you get. Third is not to forget your ground. Fourth is to forgive, let go. And fifth is never break somebody's trust. This is the 5 things you always told me every day. And I keep it with myself every day. And that's, I think, what is more important. The more you start making money, the more you start feeling you are something. You know, it used to always happen the moment when we were kids and we started feel something, we are something. He used to tell ki we are among those few micro organs in the whole universe. So you don't need to think that you are something. There are many people bigger than you.
Yeah.
You know. So he always taught all the kids to be humble. Okay, we should not, and forgive and let go. If something has gone wrong, try to forgive and let go. Because the more you will forgive and let go, the more you will succeed in life. The more you will catch it to yourself and keep having those regrets, you will be surrounding yourself by those things. So you won't grow. It won't let your mind go free. I know Gujarati ma apne ek vastu nathi kehwani, but I would say one thing. He always taught us, all the kids, one thing. I don't know how people will understand, but બોલે બેટા આપણો હાથ છે ને એ આમ રાખવાનો, આમ નહીં રાખવાનો. And today also I have the same habit. મારો હાથ આમ જ છે, મારો હાથ કોઈ દિવસ આમ જતો જ નથી. Because I am within my limits. That is what helps me to keep going.
What does it take to turn around things? As a family or as a company, as a startup? Is it just perseverance? Is it just passion? Do you need to be a little crazy in the head? What does it take?
Depending upon the situation, call of the hour. Sometimes it may just take patience,
which a lot of people lack these days.
Sometimes it may just be your aggressiveness, right?
As in
it sometimes the call of the hour calls in for saying ke I need to get this stuff going. This is my timeline, this is my deadline. That time it needs to be your aggressiveness. That time you need to get aggressive. You need to get aggressive with your team. You need to really put yourself first before the team so that they see you doing, right? You know, boss is doing it, leader is doing it, we need to do it, right? So that is the call of the hour, right? Sometimes it is just plain experience. You're sitting in front of the television, you're seeing the graph going bad, and you're sitting there, you know things are going to turn around. It's just the experience, you know, let it go. Just don't start thinking about it. Sometimes what happens in fintech, especially in currencies, gold and stuff, is when things start going down, everybody starts getting too hyper. You know. And that's because of the lack of education. Right? We all have learned throughout our life that things that goes down, it comes up. Things that go up, comes down. You look at the data for last 30 years since I'm 37. If I look at the data of last 37 years since I'm born, I've seen inflation, I've seen things growing, I've seen gold growing, I've seen everything growing. But the basic fundamental what people are not understanding is that they want money on that spot. You never make money on spot. You lose money on spot. You need to wait out. You need to give that particular thing time. I'll share an experience. 9th November 2022, I believe, is when crypto markets went really bad.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario. So I'm in US sleeping. For me, it's the 8th night. I start getting calls. And I'm like, what just happened? So I called my elder brother. I'm like, bhai, anything happened on the project? He's like, no, everything is fine. So I then called my friends. I said, what happened? Markets are going down. You may be in losses. I said, listen, let me sleep. You want to invest? Invest. But let me sleep. I'll call you in the morning. So in the morning, I call them. They're like, markets are falling. I hope your losses are okay. And I'm like, I'm absolutely fine. I'm investing. You want to invest? Well, no. Markets are falling. I said, fine. This May 2023, markets go to 30,000. From 16 to 30,000. Now it's right now, today the market would be around 44,000. Now compare up November 9th last year to December 8th this year. A person who invested into Bitcoin at 16,000 is sitting at 44,000, which is almost 180% return. what could you ask for? But this patience, this is what most of the today's real-time investors are lacking. I always like to wait out with all my investments. I have a period of 10 years. I invest from a thought process is my kid is 12, he'll be 22. The other kid is 2, he'll be 12. So I invest from that perspective. I never invest, I want to put in the money today and I want to get it tomorrow. No. So your one source of income, if you keep it into your limits, that's where your expenses are curtailed, right? Even in your personal life, I believe. Even in your personal life, you need to plan it very well. If you are crossing your personal life in terms of your limits by seeing others, that's not me. That's not me. I would not do it. I would let people judge me if they have to, but I won't do it.
So is it fair to assume that if you see a trend, you are already late?
A trend is never late.
No, but if you are realizing the trend now, you are already late.
No. It's the perspective that makes you think that. The fear of missing out. But you call FOMO? Like I have calls today morning saying, Bitcoin is rushing up. Cryptos are running up. All coins are running up. Gold is going good. Should we invest? Again, education. Something that goes up has to come down. Wait for the retracement. Wait for the right time to get in. And then go up. Right? So, I believe you have to wait out at every point of time. There is nothing which it says, when I was young, gold was at 7,000. Today the gold is at what, 58, 60 something. Right? So there is never a trend of missing out. Get in at any point of time, have the patience. You get in today at 45,000, you get gold today at 58,000. What do you think would be after 10 years? Right? But you have to wait that period out. Everybody wants to grow within the night. That's the problem.
So for the sake of this conversation, let's say I have an idea in the fintech space, all right, and I want to approach you as a founder, and I want you to invest in my company. First of all, how can I reach out to you? And second, what are the things that you're looking for? Or what are the things that I should be mindful of while approaching you?
See, fintech has a lot of portfolios in it, right? One is you have softwares which help you to manage your day-to-day expenses, your budgets. There are also some fintechs which are at the corporate level, but those are not the fintechs that I get into, software level ones. I am basically a person of assets. So I like to invest into currencies, I like to invest into gold, cryptos, anything that is countable, which can make money, quick money. At the end of the day, if you have to get in touch with me, and if you, let's say for example, I'll give you an example. When I started to learn about cryptos through one of the founders that I work with, they were into this business since 2007 in Australia, right? When he started educating me about cryptos, everyone is scared of cryptos, right? Even I was scared of cryptos. So my trend is that I like to first get educated. So I met him again in 2014, 15. I started learning about a lot of cryptos. I joined a good amount of webinars. I joined the world's one of the good agencies, which are renowned agencies on articles and stuff. I started reading more about it before I wanted to invest. I believe when I went to the US last year is when I first made my first trade after 6-7 years. Right? Because in fintech, again, there are a lot of concerns, issues, finding the right person, what's his background. You have to do a lot of research after it. You just can't get into it. A lot of people even lost money for the greed, selfishness, saying you'll get X returns in this days. And this is where a lot of selfishness and greed leads to a lot of losses. So because they're not even educated.
Yeah. It took you 6-7 years.
It took me 6-7 years to understand blockchain technology. So now I'm into blockchain. Right? Now I understand how cryptos are working. Right? Again, as I said, I don't influence people. I try to give them information, ask them to see the trend. Sometimes a lot of individuals come and tell me, oh, crypto, very dangerous.
Risky space.
I tell them, now let's look it from a finance perspective. Maths, simple maths. Price of Bitcoin 2007, $1. Price of Bitcoin 2023, 45,000. You looked it up saying it went to 60,000 and it came down to 15,000. Right? If you would have invested $1, the lowest that it went to was 12,000.
Yeah.
Even, right? So you are still in profits.
Yeah, even from that point of view.
Right? But what about the greed? It went to 60,000, it came to 12,000. You're not looking at it went from $1 to 12,000. It's all how you see the perspective.
Yeah. We look at the losses more than the wins.
Right? So I believe it's a very good asset, giving a good asset return. It's now that has built its own community today. Crypto has made its own community. Like gold has its own community today. Share market has its own community today. So crypto is also made its own community today. And I think it's not that easy to go now to fail. It's just patience. From 2012 onwards till 2023, just try to learn the trends. And you yourself will see whether it's a risky or a safe asset. Just the mind.
But in your experience, what is a good good form of company to register? Is it good to register a private limited company? Is it good to register an LLP? Is it good to register a partnership firm? From an investor's point of view,
I think it is more towards a private limited company.
why is that?
You see, it gives you more rights over the company, over the promoters. The way that the Indian laws have been framed, you can secure your capital, your investment in a private limited company more. These days. Makes it easier. So if I look at it from a private investor, I would always do a private limited company. Prefer a private limited company. Shares in it. Also, the banking perspective helps a lot if it's a private limited company for the promoters itself. In partnerships in LLP, banks get a bit discomfort at times. But yeah, private limited is the better option.
And how can I, as a founder of my company, my startup, whether we are working nationally or whether we are working globally, what sort of other revenue streams we should look at to survive in this global economy, in the challenging economy?
As I said, you need to nowadays have a multi-stream of income. So one becomes your basic day-to-day cash flow from what you are actually surviving. Sales, one business, any one business. The other is that whatever profits you make from that business, if you can somehow get those profits invested into something else, right? Into any asset class could be. I believe in more of asset classes, like real estate, gold, whatever it is. You may see good amount of profits at the end of the day. But if you don't have multiple source of income these days, I think your survival will be questionable. Right. And this is what I tell a lot of individuals when I meet them, that job is like a drug, right? It takes away your ability, your capability of doing something. And then at the end of the day, if you only are surviving on your salary, and if you lose your job, the next day you are into a problem. Rather, learn something, find a hobby, anything, trading, coding, anything that you want to do, what you're passionate about, but do something on the side. So tomorrow, even if you are, if you don't have your job tomorrow, at least you're surviving.
Yeah.
But that's what I have. I even in my own team that I have, I tell my own team to do the same thing. Okay. So what they do is, I keep learning trading. So my team who works with me, even my employees, they start learning trading. They're like, sir is doing it, let's do it. Because they know if sometimes they get into a problem in trading, it's either me or my friend, we try to get them out. Because we know when they'll exit. So that's how they keep learning. But I keep motivating everyone that other than your salary, try learning something, do something, find a passion out of it. Because job, it can put you into a problem tomorrow at any point of time.
But you talked about asset allocation and creating different revenue streams. And can you give an example of that?
So, for example, if you look at my portfolio, I invest into Indian stocks, American stocks, gold, forex, cryptos, and I invest into all kind of. I have a diversified portfolio. I don't put my eggs in the same basket. I believe that every market has its own phase of going through and developing, and we should be a part of all the phases. Some phases at some point may go up, some phases may come down, but at the end of the day, the average return is going to be good from all the things, including real estate. So I allocate my funding accordingly: real estate, gold, cryptos, forex, and the share markets.
What are some of those exciting market trends that you have seen, or you are seeing right now?
I think we also good amount of market trends in during COVID times, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
We've seen real estate go down in 2007-8 in the US. Real estate really getting, was really bad at that time. So initially at that point of time, I think I was not that educated, but I kept learning from my experiences. So during COVID times, I think when I got the opportunity, I really entered the market at that time. So my portfolio, an average return in my Indian share market would be around 35% right now. Crypto would be around 80%. Gold would be around 35-40 again. So, as I said, I'm the opposite. When everybody sells, I buy. When everybody buy, I sell. And I think that's how you really... but education is the most important thing. Most of the times, an individual lacks education. And that is where he loses a lot of money and patience. You need to get educated. Like today, even if I have to... So if somebody comes to me, let's say for a crypto, and I face this every time in my life, every day. I have friends who want to deal into it, and they come and say, hey, listen, you should put money into this crypto. My first question to them is, where's the white paper? Give me a white paper. On what basis or fundamentals are you asking me to put money into this crypto? And they don't have it. You ask them, why do you want to invest? He said, somebody just told me to invest. This kind of communication, education really hampers the individuals, and then they lose money, and then they blame the crypto industry,
Right.
which is not right.
Yeah.
So
The stock market as well.
stock, if you're only investing into good companies, then there is no problem. You want to gamble with your money. You see, investment is not about gambling. It's about making money. If you gamble, you're going to lose money like a casino. If you keep patience over a period of time, like real estate, you put money today, put it for 10 years, you're always going to make money. But if you want to today take, sell, one or two deals may go bad and you may lose money. So everything with patience is, I believe, going to make money.
Globally speaking, as a venture capitalist, what are the challenges? What are some of the challenges that you are facing, or in general VCs are facing?
You see, being from an asset class these days, global dynamics, we all have to keep in mind of what's happening these days, right? And regardless of what's happening in the world, whenever there is a situation which affects the US dollar, a lot of currencies, I would say a lot of currencies, gold, other markets get affected with it. And that is where we have to understand where the trend is going for which asset. Sometimes it could be that the S&P would be going up depending upon the situation. Sometimes gold goes up. Sometimes unexpectedly the crypto would have its own wave, which is unexpected, different from its cycle. So global dynamics make a lot of impact on your asset class, and you have to keep yourself updated with a lot of information. And then based on the same information and the same trend, you make your choices of your entry or exits. Right? Emotionality is one thing. Business is one thing. Right? And I don't say that regardless of what happens in the world, we should be selfish. No. But at the end of the day, we also have to make sure that we are surviving and we take the right decision regardless of whatever the scenario is. That is very important. At one point, that becomes very important.
So if I'm coming to you as a founder, or in general, if I'm going to VCs to seek funding, what advice would you give to this budding entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs?
So basically, when I get a lot of friends who suggest a lot of startups with me, and I tell them to make a cash flow for 5 years. Initially 3 years, if the cash flow is positive, that means there is something wrong. For the first 3 years, there can be it's a very rare situation that you may have profits.
Okay.
Right? Because you are marketing the product, you are putting more money into marketing, advertisement. You want to reach the consumer. The cost of the consumer is going to be very high initially, right? So for the first 3 years, I tell them that if you are looking at, let's say, an X $1 million, multiply that by 5. Because once you start, your expenses are not going to stop. You're going to keep growing and keep growing to a point where today, if you're expecting your first year to be, your expenses to be at $1 million, the next year you're going to expect it to go to at least around 3 times, that is 3 million, and then that 3 million into 4 times, that is 12 million, right? Because if you want to grow, you have to keep pushing your product in the market, and the only way to push that product in the market is to marketing and sales and advertisement. So sales still gives you money back. Marketing is just a 30-second, not even a 30-second, I think it's a 3-second video.
Yeah.
Right? If the customer likes it, he'll come to you. If he doesn't, then it's done. Right? So you need to have a good amount of funding. I always tell them, first year is 1, multiply that by 3, and the second year multiply that by 4. If you have that kind of fund, or you can raise that kind of fund, then get into the business. The 4th year is going to become easy. Every business has a cycle. Right? You have to respect the cycle. If you think that I've made a product and from the very first day I'll find somebody who's going to take it, no. Then you are into a, I think, dream space.
Should we focus more on the year-on-year growth, or should we just focus on the product and delivering the best product in this initial 3-4 years?
Both. If the product is good, then your growth has to be year on year. Then only you can say your product is good. Unless and until if your product is not good, then your year-to-year growth will not be there. That means there is some problem with your product, and you need to re-strategize it or remodel it or whatever you need to do. You need to do it. But a growth, year-to-year growth is what is really important. If you don't do a year-to-year growth, what will happen? Your revenue is going to stay constant. Your expenses are going to grow. How are you going to survive? Again, expenses are cumulative.
Right.
In a very speedy way. Profits, when you start making money on the reverse, it takes a lot of time to recover that money. Right? So that's what I always keep telling.
Make compounding your ally.
Oh yes. Compounding is, you have to. If I make a money today, I believe that, let's say for example, if I'm making $100 a month, for example, I will try not to exceed 30 rupees as my expense. The remaining 70% that I have, of that I'll invest 50. Remaining 20 I'll have in my pocket. Because I may get an opportunity at any point of time. But the thing is not to exceed 30.
We talked about investing, we talked about compounding. When you build a brand, that's when you get the exponential return, right? Because now probably you are selling the same product, but you are selling it at a different price point. And that is only possible because you have built a brand around it, right? How important it is from an investor's point of view, how important it is to build brands around companies or founders?
See, brand doesn't get made overnight.
Sure.
Do you want to be a part of a brand which is successful? Yes, very much. To build that brand, the number of sacrifices that one makes to get an understanding team, partners, stakeholders. Most important, to get a supporting family at that point of time. I think it's very, very important because brand takes away a lot of your sacrifices. But yes, you always want to be a part of a brand because that is something where you are proud of what you've made. Right? And if it's successful, then, as I said, proud is the right word, humble is the right word, but then it should not get converted into arrogance and ego. A brand mainly would fail because of that reason. So yes, you want to be a part of the brand. I see a lot of partners that I work with, they put in so much hours into their business. And because they put in that many hours, I bloody get motivated to put that many hours into the business, you know. And it gives a real feel about it. As I said, supporting family is also the most important part of it. And understanding stakeholders. When you need them, they should be there besides you, standing like a strong iron, you know. That time they should not be cautioning you. They should be putting their full efforts into making it successful rather than doubting you. That's very important. And I think that is where I've made my goodwill with my partners. Regardless of the situation, regardless of day or night, you give me a call and you tell me this is what it is, I will find a way out of it. And that's what I am there for. But yes, brand, you want to be a part of a brand.
You spoke about the how somebody can approach you for investing, how what are the things that they should be mindful about when they are seeking funding and whatnot. And what, but none of this is possible by one man alone, by the founder alone. He needs to build a team, right? What are the who are those 5 people that a founder must have or surround his self with?
Again, it goes with my philosophy of I, E and C. I need people with integrity, ethics and character. You see, when you start growing successful, there are a lot of air that comes around you. There are a lot of people who start putting air into you. And that is the reason where a lot of individuals start failing. The people that I have around me, I have 4 pillars of mine. I think I don't meet anyone directly.
Right.
They tell me for them I'm too straight of a person. Gujarati mein kahe to bodo. And my approach when I meet anybody, I can't really know the intentions of a person. I'm very like that. I'm very person who I can't judge a person. I believe that if somebody is done wrong with me, I can't let the other people suffer for that. That's my philosophy. Sometimes they believe that if somebody is done bad to us, then everyone comes into that criteria. For me, it's not like that. For it's like, if somebody is done bad with us, he'll face his karma. I can't think, or I should not think that every person is the same like him. So I have these 4 pillars of mine, very strong pillars, and depending upon the kind of person who comes to meet me, they decide who is going to meet. And if they feel it right, if they feel the person is right, he has the right agenda to go ahead, then only I will be meeting them, or else I don't. I like to have my privacy. I like to have my own one time, and they make sure that I do that. Yeah, they filter most of it for me.
If you had to suggest me or any other entrepreneur or a founder, these are the 5 profiles that you need in your team. That you need.
For me, a person needs, as I said, needs to have an integrity, ethics, and character. If he has this basic 3 things, you can train him in whatever field you want to. But if he doesn't have this basic 3 things, no matter how good team you make, you're already a failure. See, you can make somebody learn, which is something out of the something that is out of the context. You can make them learn, but something which is within, you can't. So, and it takes a lot of hard work to make that kind of a team, to look for that kind of an individual. Not everyone is same in the same thought process. I have a few team members who come on time and they go on time. I have few team members who never come on time, right? But I don't get mad about it. My father always told me, at the end of the day, it's the results that matter.
Right.
If you come on time, you give me a result, you go home. If you're not coming on time, you're still giving me results, I have nothing to do with it. Give me the bloody results on my table. Right? And that's the kind of team I have built. I believe everybody needs to have their space. Everybody needs to have their thought process. I let them do whatever they want to. If they get stuck, they come to me and they tell me this is where they got stuck. And I just guide them. But slowly and gradually, I think I'm building a team on a very international front where I have different people looking after different portfolios.
How different is that? Building a team here in India and then building a team globally?
I think there is no difference as such. Wherever you make a team, you have to find the right individuals. And then you need to have your philosophies to go with them, and they need to understand it. Yes, if I look at it from a perspective of ownership, taking the ownership of the task, you need to make them learn that they are a part of the team. And I don't even say that they are wrong, because most of the times, when you work for a good company, they say, you're a part of a good company, the company is you and everything, and when the time comes, they don't even look behind and they fire you or they let you go. Even any individual from that perspective, I believe, is not wrong compared to when I look at them. But yes, I select a very few people. I believe my team should be like Pandavas. I like very few people around me. But those 5 Pandavas of mine should be able to take over hundreds. And that's the team that I'm building right now. And I have those kind of people right now with me. So regardless if I'm traveling the world, wherever I'm traveling, they will take care of it. I know that much. If they get stuck, they call me.
India is one of the youngest countries in the world right now. And there are so many founders who are around 25 or under the age of 30, right? And there is a very strong community in India and outside India also of founders and creators and whatnot. What advice would you give them to this upcoming founders and entrepreneurs?
You see, there are 2 categories within it, I believe. One who already have a successful background because of their parents, like us. And one who are building up their empire.
From the scratch.
From the scratch. The one who are building up their empire from the scratch, I believe for them, they know what they're doing. I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried about those who already have built an empire.
Right? They need to be more mindful.
They need to be more mindful. They need to be more realistic. They need to see the world not from the view that they are looking at, but from a very independent person point of view. We have this habit of nurturing our kids everywhere, right? Wherever they go, we will give them the platform that things become easier for them. We believe as parents sometimes that giving that kind of a service makes it easier for them. My father did not believe in it. My father was, Jainu bore. If you have to stand in a line, you have to stand in a line.
Rakdao.
He will not call somebody for me unless until it's to a point where he believes I'm unnecessarily getting harassed. At that point of time, he'll interfere. But unless that, he always has put in, even in my college when I wanted to get an admission, he said, go and apply, I'm not calling anyone. Then I'll share an incident. I got an admission in Pune Symbiosis. And then I got an admission in IIPM, Delhi. And I wanted to go to Pune. But he said, nahi, aapko Delhi jana hai. And I'm like, Delhi? Oh my God. And Pune is more of a night place and fun. And Delhi is similar, but Delhi had that image, Delhi wale. So I went to Delhi. And his intention was that we are business people. You need to learn the right and the wrong. And Delhi is the right place for it.
So was he right?
He was right. Within a year, I was back. So he always made it tough for us. His philosophy was, karo. Do it. If something goes wrong, I'm there. But do it by yourself.
Is that something you do with your team or with your founders?
I do it with my kids. That's the reason I've shifted to US. And I really want to do it with my son. And I'm still doing it with my son. I really want them to face that. hardship, if you don't see an hardship when you get a chair or a position, people may respect you because of who you are from a background. But would they really respect you because of what abilities and capabilities you have? That is the question.
Yeah.
And as parent, I think initially maybe I was one of those kids who always thought that my dad is wrong. And today I believe that he's completely right.
Yeah.
Right. So I believe I'm going to put it with my kids. I do it the same way. My wife, she does it the same way. I'm very harsh on my kid, and I believe that I have to be harsh as a father, because if I am, very gloomy with him, and tomorrow if he doesn't succeed in his life, I'm going to be the biggest failure, no matter how successful I am. This is how I believe. My father believed the same way. He always used to tell me, beta, I may be successful in my life, but you are my asset. If you as an asset fail, then what use is it?
Is it also because the world has changed so much?
Yeah.
It has become a far more difficult place to survive.
I don't think it's become a far more difficult place. I think it's, as I said before, that today, in those days, people used to see the bad part of what's happening with an individual. There was no social media, right? So surroundings affected you. Today, when you look at social media, everybody seems to be happy. They show that they're doing this. It's become a platform where nobody's showing the bad part of it. So this psychology of kids today is, rather than becoming competitive, it's becoming comparative. Initially it was competitive.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a fair competition, you want to do it. Now it's becoming comparative.
Yeah.
Has
and has not.
Has and has not.
Yeah.
And I think that is what is actually creating more concerning issues for parents today. We have this big debates, I'll be very frank, with my friends. कि हम बच्चों के साथ ये कर सकते हैं, ये नहीं कर सकते हैं today.
Yeah.
Because here it's a lot of comfort that's coming in, which is becoming difficult for a lot of kids and parents.
What are some of those observations that you have made about founders or entrepreneurs? That these are the areas where they need to work. As Gujaratis, we are good with understanding the business and we are good with finances. Then there are certain areas where we may not be that good, right? For example, brand building. For example, marketing or something like that. What are those observations, if you have any?
See, basically, since the day I got into business, and I said I had two mentors, my father and my Bade Papa. My Bade Papa is my biggest critic. Okay. He always used to tell me from the very first day, Suvas, if we don't know something, don't try to learn it or become an expert. Find an expert. So I don't get my role anything out of finance. Okay. My role is finance. I'll help you with your structuring and stuff. Other than that, if you want to do something, right, find the people who do it. Don't come to me. I am not somebody who is expert with everything. And he always used to tell me, if somebody is saying that he is an expert in everything, stay away from him. Because knowing a bit of knowledge doesn't mean that you know the whole complete knowledge of that thing.
Yeah.
So nowadays, people read a bit on the books.
Jack of all.
Jack of all. That is not. You need to be, if you are good at something, then you're good at it or you're not good at it. That's simple as it is. There's no between stuff in it. So I normally guide them that if you're looking an expert of this thing, find an expert in that thing. You need to have an experience of at least 10 to 12 years. Right? So he is the person who can rightly guide you. So I have my very clear from the very first day, if it is financing, if you want to get an idea about the cash flow, where the company is going as far as cash flow is concerned, or where are we making some mistakes in the balance sheet, that is where I can help you. That's what I always tell, find an expert.
But have you noticed any areas where most of the people struggle? Is it the financial
They want
model?
to do everything by themselves. The problem with today's startup or entrepreneurs is that initially they want to do everything by themselves, which is taking a toll on them, actually, which is actually putting a lot of unnecessary pressure. So one thing is that in a team, why do you need a team? Because if everyone is doing their part of the job, you are relaxed at some point of time. If you're not relaxed, what are you going to put your thought process into?
Yeah.
If I keep running, I can't put my thought process into something what I want to do. I'm just going to keep thinking about it, how to complete it. There could be...
You're firefighting basically.
Yeah, but there could be like different 10 ways to get it right. I would not be focusing on those 10 because I'm already so busy with something which I don't know. Rather find somebody who knows, learn from that person, be humble enough to listen. Today people don't want to listen.
Yeah.
You know?
And like you said, ask for help.
Ask for help. There's nothing wrong. I call people and ask for help. I'm not going to be a small person. I'm very simple. Bhai madad જોઈએ છે. I need help. He may feel proud of saying Suvas been madad જોઈએ છે. But Suvas been જોઈએ, bhai. He needs it.
Yeah.
What's wrong in it?
Yeah.
You know?
So I think we covered a lot of topics in this segment. But in the next segment, I want to dwell more on your philosophy in life in general, and what are the future trends that you're seeing, where the market is going, where the economy is going. So thank you for this.
Thank you.